Today I'm going to try to match wood colors. I have these cabinets and they're a combination of an orange and a mahogany-like color. I'd like to replace these two doors with two horizontal doors that I will bolt on right onto these drawers, so I don't have to first open these doors and then pull the drawers out, but instead I'm just going to have handles and I'm going to pull out the doors with the drawers. What I've done so far is I made two doors in the exact sizes, and I think they came out really nice. Unfortunately, I chose to use poplar for the wood, which, as I found out later, is probably not the best choice, because it's just going to have a very different texture and it's going to stain differently. What I've been trying to do is match this exact pattern by trying different stains and trying to find one that gives me that exact look, or close to it, at least on this wood. So after a while I realized that I need a combination of colors in here. And what this is some wood dye followed by oil-based wood stain. The wood dye that I'm using is Keta, and for very little money I got this 5-pack of different colors, of which I'm only using the yellow and the red. Believe it or not, that's what these are. And I have mixed a very small amount of red and a lot of yellow, in fact a 1:16 ratio, to get the kind of orange I'm looking for. And they're at a concentration of 1 teaspoon yellow and 1/16 of a teaspoon of red in a cup of water. And it looks totally red if you're just looking at it. These are the various experiments I've tried before. You'll notice that looks orange, but it doesn't look orange when you apply it. And you can see that this looks red, but if I dab this onto something, it's actually fairly orangish, or if you might even say yellow. But this is the color that I used here, and on wood, at least after a little while, this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go for it. So far I've started raising the grain. I've sprayed these with water, and I'm waiting for them to dry, and then I'm going to just lightly sand it, then my dye, and when that dries, after that I'm going to be applying the pre-stain. I'm going to be using this red mahogany stain. The dark mahogany also works, but it winds up being too dark. You can see that that this was a better match because there is just not much orange visible through the rich mahogany. Fairly dry. I'm just going to lightly scuff it after raising the grain. I'm going to start with applying this orange wood dye. Starting on the back. I started applying the pre-stain, then realized that I probably don't want to do that before the dye, because I don't know if I'll be able to penetrate. So this is the back, and I get to experiment back here without too much risk. And you can see that the end grains are getting a lot more color, even though I sanded them to finer grain to plug the ends. I sanded them with 220 and the rest with 150. I think it's time to take this off. I'm going to sand the end grain a little bit because that turned out to be really red. Using 220 for this. Okay, I declare that it is now time for pre-stain. Time for stain. And this is wiping stain. Alright, so that's one coat of wiping stain, and I'm going to give it probably another 5 minutes before I wipe it off. And it has been more than 12 hours. And this dry, looks really nice. You can see color is almost exactly what I was looking for. It's a little orange and it's got the mahogany color on top of it. It's time to apply poly. I'm using Varathane. And I'm going to be applying my first coat. Here we are after 2 coats of oil-based polyurethane, and I would say the color is not a perfect match, this to this. And you'll notice that even though this doesn't match, my original test piece actually matches really well. And the only thing that I can tell that I did dramatically different is pre-stain. I don't think I did pre-stain on this. And there's only 1 coat of poly. So between those 2 things, it changed the final result. So I think it's a lesson that it's important to do exactly what I'm going to do here, over here first. I've decided not to redo it. I think it's going to blend in just fine and nobody's going to notice it too much unless they really stare at it. And this is the final result without the hardware. Here it is all installed, and color matches better than I expected, even though on very close inspection you can see it's a little red, but at this distance it makes absolutely no difference. We have the hardware installed. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, even if it took a little effort to get the colors right. And on top of that, refinishing wood doesn't sound as scary as it did before.